Hi everyone, welcome back. Section 73 of Sambhavapar continued. Vaishampayan continued. King Dushmanta, hearing all this, said, well spoken. O princess, this that thou hast said, be my wife, O beautiful one. What shall I do for thee? Golden garlands, robes, earrings of gold, white and handsome pearls from various countries, golden coins, finest carpets, I shall present thee this very day. Let the whole of my kingdom be thine today, O beautiful one. Come to me, O timid one, wedding me, O beautiful one, according to the Gandharva form. O thou of tapering thighs, of all forms of marriage, the Gandharva is regarded as the first. Shakuntala, hearing this, said, O king, my father had gone away from this asylum to bring fruit. Wait but a moment, he will bestow me to thee. Dushmanta replied, O beautiful and faultless one, I desire that thou shouldest be my life's companion. Know thou that I exist for thee, and my heart is in thee. One is certainly one's own friend, and one certainly may depend upon one's own self. Therefore, according to the ordinance, thou canst certainly bestow thyself. There is in all 8 kinds of marriages. These are Brahma, Deva, Ashta, Prajapateya, Asura, Gandharva, Rakshasa, and Paischa, the eighth. Manu, the son of the self-create, hath spoken of the appropriateness of all these forms according to their order. Know, O faultless one, that the first 4 of these are fit for Brahmins, and the first 6 for Kshatriyas. As regards kings, even the Rakshasa form is permissible. The Asura form is permitted to Vaishyas and Shudras, and the first 5 of the 3 are proper, the other 2 being improper. The Paischa and the Asura form should never be practiced. These are the institutes of religion, and one should act according to them. The Gandharva and the Rakshasa forms are consistent with the practices of Kshatriyas. Thou needest not entertain the least fear. There is not the least doubt that either according to any one of these late mentioned forms or according to the union of both of them, our wedding may take place. O thou of the fairest complexion, full of desire I am, thou also in a similar mood mayst become my wife according to the Gandharva form. Shakuntala, having listened to all this, answered, if this be the course sanctioned by religion, if indeed I am my own disposer, hear, O thou foremost one of Puru's race, what my terms are. Promise truly to give me what I ask thee. The son that I shall be begotten on me shall become thy heir apparent. This, O king, is my fixed resolve. O Dushmanta, if thou grant this, then let our union take place. Vaishampayan continued. The monarch, without taking time to consider, at once told her, let it be so. I will ever take thee, O thou of agreeable smiles, with me to my capital. I tell thee truly, O beautiful one, thou deservest all this. And so saying, the first of the kings wedded the handsome Shakuntala of graceful gait, and know her as a husband. And assuring her duly, he went away, telling her repeatedly, I shall send thee for thy escort my troops of 4 classes. Indeed, it is even thus that I shall take thee to my capital, O thou of sweet smiles. Vaishampayan continued, O Janmejay, having promised so unto her, the king went away. And as he retraced his own homewards, he began to think of Kashyap. And he asked himself, what will the illustrious ascetic say after he knows all? Thinking of this, he entered his capital. The moment the king had left, Kanva arrived at his abode. But Shakuntala, from a sense of shame, did not go out to receive her father. The great ascetic, however possessed of spiritual knowledge, knew all. Indeed, beholding everything with his spiritual eye. The illustrious one was pleased and addressed her and said, Amiable one, what hath been done by thee today in secret, without having waited for me, that is, intercourse with a man, hath not been destructive of thy virtue. Indeed, union according to the Gandharva form of a wishful woman with a man of sensual desire, without mantras of any kind, it is said is the best for Kshatriyas. The best of men, Dushmanta, is also high souled and virtuous. Thou hast, O Shakuntala, accepted him for thy husband. The son that shall be born of thee shall be mighty and illustrious in this world, and he shall have sway over the sea. And the forces of that illustrious King of kings, while he goeth out against his foes, shall be irresistible. Shakuntala then approached her fatigued father and washed his feet. And taking down the load he had with him and placing the fruits in proper order, she told him, I behoveth thee to give thy grace to that Dushmanta whom I have accepted for my husband, as well as his ministers. Kanva replied, O thou of fairest complexion, for thy sake I am inclined to bless him. But receive for me, O blessed one, the boon that thou desirest. Vaishampayan continued. Shakuntala, thereupon moved by the desire of benefiting Dushmanta, asked for the boon that Paurava monarchs might ever be virtuous and never deprived of their thrones. Section 74. Sambhava Parv continued. Vaishampayan said, after Dushmanta had left the asylum, having made these promises unto Shakuntala, the latter tapering thighs brought forth a boy of immeasurable energy. And when the child was 3 years old, he became a splendor like the blazing fire. And O Janmejay, he was possessed of beauty and magnanimity and even accomplishment. And that first of virtuous men, Kanva, caused all the rites of religion to be performed in respect of that intelligent child thriving day by day. And the boy, gifted with the pearly teeth and shining locks, capable of slaying lions, even then, with all auspicious signs on his palms and broad, expansive forehead, grew up in beauty and strength. And like unto a celestial child in splendor, he began to grow up rapidly. And when he was only 6 years of age, endued with great strength, he used to seize the and bind to the trees that stood around that asylum lions and tigers and bears and buffaloes and elephants. And he rode on some animals and pursued others in sportive mood. The dwellers at Kanva's asylum thereupon bestowed on him a name, and they said, because he seizes and restrains an animal, however strong, let him be called Sarvadhamna, the subduer of all. And it was thus that the boy came to be named as Sarvadhamna, endued as he was with prowess and energy and strength. And the Rishi, seeing the boy and marking also his extraordinary acts, told Shakuntala that the time had come for his installation as their heir apparent. And beholding the strength of the boy, Kanva commanded his disciples, saying, Bear ye without delay this Shakuntala with a son from this support to that of her husband, blessed with every auspicious sign. Women should not live long in the houses of their parental or maternal relationships. Such residence is destructive of their reputation, their good conduct, their virtue. Therefore, delay not in bearing her hence. These disciples of the Rishi thereupon saying, So be it, went towards the city named after an elephant, Hastinapur, with Shakuntala and her son ahead of them. And then she of fair eye And then she of fair eyebrows, taking with her that boy of celestial beauty, endued with eyes like lotus petals, left the woods where she had first known by Dushmanta. And having approached the king, she, with her boy, resembling in splendor the rising sun, was introduced to him. And the disciples of the Rishi, having introduced her, returned to the asylum. And Shakuntala, having worshipped the king according to proper form, told him, "This is thy son, O king. Let him be installed as thy heir apparent." O king, this child, like unto celestials, had been begotten by thee upon me. Therefore, O best of men, fulfill now the promise thou givest me. Call to mind, O thou of greatest good fortune, the agreement thou hast made on the occasion of thy union with me in the asylum of Kanva. The king, hearing these words and remembering everything, said, "I do not remember anything. Who art thou, O wicked woman, in ascetic guise? I do not remember having any connection with thee in respect to dharma, kama, and arthas. Go and stay and do as thou pleasest." Thus addressed by him, the fair colored innocent one became abashed. Grief deprived her of consciousness, and she stood for a time like a wooden post. Soon, however, her eyes became red like copper, and her lips began to quiver. And the glances she now and then cast upon the king seemed to burn the latter. Her rising wrath, however, and the fire of her asceticism, she extinguished without herself by an extraordinary effort. Collecting her thoughts in a moment, her heart possessed with sorrow and rage, she thus addressed her lord in anger, looking at him. "Knowing everything, O monarch, how canst thou, like an inferior person, thus saying that that thou knowest it not? Thy heart is witness to the truth or falsehood of this matter. Therefore, speak truly without disregarding thyself. He who, being one thing, represented himself as another thing to others, is like a thief or a robber of his own self. Of what sin is he not capable? Thou thinkest that thou alone hast knowledge of thy deed, but knowest thou not the ancient omniscient Narayana liveth in thy heart? He knoweth all thy sins. Thou sinnest in his presence. He that sins think that none observe him, but he is observed by the gods and by him also who is in every heart. The sun, the moon, the air, the fire, the earth, the sky, water, the heart, Yama, the day, the night, both twilights and dharma, all witness the acts of man. Yama, the son of Surya, takes no account of the sins of him with whom Narayana, the witness of all acts, is gratified. But he with whom Narayana is not gratified is tortured by his sins by Yama. Him who disregardeth himself by representing his self falsely, the gods never bless. Even his own soul blesseth him not. I am a wife devoted to my husband. I have come for my own accord, it is true, but do not on that account treat me with disrespect. I am thy wife and therefore deserve to be treated respectfully. Wilt thou not treat me so? Because I have come hither of my own account. In the presence of so many, why dost thou treat me like an ordinary woman? I am not certainly crying in the wilderness. Dost thou not hear me? But if thou refuse to do what I supplicate thee for, O Dushmanta, thy head this moment shall burn into pieces. The husband entering the womb of the wife cometh out himself in the form of the son. Therefore is the wife called by those cognizant of the Vedas as Jaya, she of whom one is born. And the son that is so born unto persons cognizant of the Vedic mantras rescueth the spirits of deceased ancestors. And because the son rescueth ancestors from the hell called Put, therefore hath he been called by the self create himself as Putra, the rescuers from Put. But, but a son one conquest the three worlds. By a son's son one enjoyeth eternity, and by a grandson's son great grandfathers enjoy everlasting happiness. She is a true wife who is skillful in household affairs. She is a true wife who hath borne a son. She is a true wife whose heart is devoted to her Lord. She is a true wife who knoweth none but her Lord. The wife is a man's half. The wife is the first of the friends. The wife is the root of religion, profit, and desire. The wife is the root of salvation. They have They that have wives can perform religious acts. They that have wives can lead domestic lives. They that have wives have the means to be cheerful. They that have wives can achieve good fortune. Sweet speeched wives are friends on occasions of joy. They are as fathers on occasions of religious acts. They are mothers in sickness and woe. Even in the deep woods, to a traveller, a wife is his refreshment and solace. He that had a wife is trusted by all. A wife, therefore, is one's most valuable possession. Even when the husband, leaving this world, goeth into the regions of Yama, it is the devoted wife that accompanies him thither. A wife going before waits for the husband. But if the husband goeth before, the chaste wife followeth close. For these reasons, O king, doth marriage exist. The husband enjoy the companionship of the wife both in this and the other worlds. It hath been said by the learned persons that one is himself born as one's son. Therefore, a man whose wife had borne a son should look upon her as his mother, beholding the face of the son one had begotten upon his wife, like his own face in a mirror. One feeleth as happy as a virtuous man on attaining to heaven. Men scorched by mental grief or suffering under bodily pain feel as much refreshed in the companionship of their wives as a perspiring person in cool bath. No man, even in anger, should ever do anything that is disagreeable to his wife, seeing that happiness, joy, and virtue, everything dependeth on the wife. A wife is the sacred field in which the husband is born himself. Even rishis cannot create creatures without women. What happiness is greater than that the father feeleth when a son running towards him, even though his body be covered with dust, claspeth his limbs? Why then thou treat with indifference such a son who hath approached thee himself and who casteth wistful glances towards thee for climbing thy knee? Even ants support their own eggs without destroying them. Then why shouldst not thou, virtuous man that thou art, support thy own child? The touch of the touch of soft sandal paste of women of cool water is not so agreeable as the touch of one's own infant son locked in one's embrace. As a Brahman is the foremost of all bipeds, a cow the foremost of all the quadrupeds, a protector the foremost of all superiors, so is the sun the foremost of all objects, agreeable to the touch. Let therefore this handsome child touch thee in embrace. There is nothing in the world more agreeable to the touch of than the embrace of one's son. O chastier of foes, I have brought forth this child, O monarch, capable of dispelling all thy sorrows after bearing him in my womb for full 3 years. O monarch of Puru's race, he shall perform 100 horse sacrifices. These were the words uttered from the sky when I was in living in room. Indeed, men going into places remote from their homes take up their other children on their laps and smiling their hearts feel great happiness. Thou knowest that Brahmins repeat these Vedic mantras on the occasion of the consecration rites of infancy. Thou art born, O son of my body. Thou art sprung from my heart. Thou art myself in the form of a son. Live thou to 100 years. My life dependeth on thee, and the continuation of my race also on thee. Therefore, O son, live thou in great happiness to 100 years. He had sprung from thy body, this second being from thee. Behold thyself in thy son, as thou beholdest thy image in the clear lake. As the sacrificial fire is kindled from the domestic one, so hath this one sprung from thee, though one thou hast divided thyself. In course of hunting, while engaged in pursuit of the deer, I was approached by thee, O king, I who was then a virgin in the asylum of my father. Urvashi, Putra, Putrachiti, Sahajanya, Menaka, Vishwachi, Grihitachi, these are the six foremost of Apsaras. Among them again, Menaka, born of Brahman, is the first. Descending from the heavens on earth, after intercourse with Vishwamitra, she gave birth to me. The celebrated Apsara Menaka brought me forth in the valley of Himavat. Bereft of all affection, she went away, cast me there as if I were a child of somebody else. What sinful act did I do of old in some other life that I was in infancy cast away by my parents, and at present I am cast away by thee? Put away by thee, I am ready to return to refuge of my father. But it behoveth thee not to cast off this child who is thy own. Hearing this, Dushmanta said, O Shakuntala, I do not know, having begot upon thee this son. Women generally speak untruths. Who shall believe thy words? Destitute of all affection, the lewd Menaka is thy mother, and she cast thee off on the surface of the Himavat as one throws away after the worship is over the flowers offering made to his gods. Thy father too, the Kshatriya race, the lustful Vishwamitra, who was tempted to become a Brahman, is destitute of all affection. However, Menka is the first of Apsaras, and thy father also the first of Rishis. Being their daughter, why dost thou speak like a lewd woman? Thy words deserve no credit. Art thou not ashamed to speak them, especially before me? Go hence, O wicked woman in ascetic guise. Where is that foremost of great rishis, where also is the Apsara Menka? And why art thou low as thou art in the guise of an ascetic? Thy child is grown up. Thy, thou sayest he is a boy, but he is very strong. How hath he soon grown like a shala sprout? Thy birth is low. Thou speakest like a lewd woman. Lustfully hath thou been begotten by Menaka. O woman of ascetic guise, all that thou sayest is quite unknown to me. I don't know thee. Go whithersoever thou choosest. Shakuntala replied, Thou seest, O king, the fault of others, even though they shall be small as a mustard seed. But seeing thou notest not thy own faults, even though they be as large as the vilva fruit. Menka is one of the celestials. Indeed, Menka is reckoned as the first of celestials. My birth, therefore, O Dushmanta, is far higher than thine. Thou walkest upon the earth, O king, but I roam in the skies. Behold, the difference between ourselves is that between the mountain Meru and a mustard seed. Behold my power, O king. I can repair to the abodes of Indra, Kuvera, Yama, and Varuna. The saying is true, which I shall refer to before thee, O sinless one. I refer to it for example's sake, and not from evil motives. Therefore, it behoveth thee to pardon me after thou hast heard it. An ugly person considered himself handsomer than others until he sees his own face in the mirror. But when he sees his own ugly face in the mirror, it is then that he perceiveth the difference between himself and others. He that is really handsome never taunts anyone, and he that always talketh evil becometh a revealer. And as the swine always looks for dirt and filth, even when the midst of a flower garden, so the wicked always chooses the evil over both evil and good that others speak. Those, however, that are wise on hearing the speeches of others that are intermixed with both good and evil accept only that is good, like geese that always extract the milk only, though it may be mixed with water. As the honest are always pained at speaking ill of others, so do the wicked always rejoice in doing the same. As the honest always feel pleasure in showing guard for the old, so do the wicked always take delight in aspersizing the good. The honest are happy in not seeking for faults. The wicked are happy in seeking for them. The wicked even speak ill of the honest, but the latter never injure the former, even if injured by him. What can be more ridiculous in the world than that those that are themselves wicked should represent the really honest as wicked? When even the atheists are annoyed with those that have fallen off from truth and virtue and who are really like angry snakes of virulent poison, what shall I say in myself, who am nourisheth in faith? He that having begotten a son who is his own image regardeth him not, never attaineth to the worlds he covets. And verily the gods destroy his good fortune and possessions. The Pitris have said that the sun continueth the race and the line, and is therefore the best of all religious acts. Therefore, none should abandon a son. Manu had said that there are five kinds of sons: those begotten by oneself upon his own wife, those obtained as gift from others, those purchased for a consideration, those reared with affection, and those begotten upon other women, that upon wedded wives. Sons support the religion and achievements of men, enhance their joys, and rescue diseased ancestors from hell. It behoveth thee not, therefore, O tiger amongst kings, to abandon a son who is such. Therefore, O Lord of earth, cherish thy own self, true and virtue, by christening thy son. O lion amongst monarchs, it behoveth thee not to support this deceitfulness. The dedication of a tank is more meritorious than that of 100 wells. A sacrifice again is more meritorious than the dedication of a tank. A son is more meritorious than a sacrifice. Truth is more meritorious than 100 sons. 100 horse sacrifices had once been weighed against truth, and the truth was found heavier than 100 horse sacrifices. O king, truth, I ween, may be equal to the study of the entire Vedas and ablutions in all holy places. There is no virtue equal to truth. There is nothing superior to truth. O king, truth is God Himself. Truth is the highest vow. Therefore, violate not thy pledge, O monarch. Let truth and thee be even united. If thou placest no credit in my words, I shall of my own accord go hence. Indeed, thy companionship should be avoided. But thou, O Dushmanta, that when thou art gone, this son of mine shall rule the whole earth, surrounded by the four seas and adorned with the kings of the mountains. With this, we come to an end to this section of Mahabharat. Until next time, this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Stay healthy always. Narayan, Narayan.